Be honest with me. You applauding me or the sun?
That red ball in the sky.
Crazy. A lot of you from out of town tonight? A word of caution. Be careful while you're out here this week. People in Los Angeles are a little cranky. I mean, you're dealing with about 4 million people who've been watching their underwear shrink for about 8 days. And that can bring on problems. You were up all last night mopping up puddles, I understand.
Yes.
That's what happens when you have a young baby around the house. Hello, Thomas.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Well, where's Doc tonight?
Doc is indisposed.
May see. Is he,
He's got the flu, is what he does.
Oh, what kind is it, you know? Oh.
Swine flu.
Wait a minute. Hold it now. Ross Tompkins, what was that?
Swine flu.
The Hawaiian flu.
Swine.
Swine flu.
Now, we can do that, and I'll drink a glass of water at the same time.
I'm getting the big bucks. He's getting the laughs. I don't know. Anyway, what's going on? There's not a lot in the news today. Ferdinand Marcos just called Baby Doc Duvalier and asked him if he could get a deal on a duplex. Did you read today that the United States Senate declared that the Philippine elections were marred by fraud? Surprise! The Senate also declared that the carnival game with the 3 milk cans is rigged. Senate's right on top of things. They also declared today that Hitler's campaign team was overzealous. Hitler still doesn't get laughs after all this time. The president, I think, he was at his ranch, and then he left because the roof was leaking at the ranch, too. He went to Grenada. Remember Grenada? That was the original site for the show Gilligan's Island. And was recently featured on Dynasty as Moldavia. Grenada doesn't get much either.
No.
Do you know anything about Grenada at all?
Very little. I've been there, but very little.
What do you mean you've been there?
I visited there years ago.
For what reason?
Vacation, pleasure, fun. Get a drink.
Move over here. I'm dying, you guys are hits. Well, Grenada is not exactly, I guess you'd bear me out on this, is not an economic giant.
No.
I mean, their main source of income is a guy named Al who combs the beach with a metal detector. I'm talking small, folks. Their first line of defense, I understand, is a speed bump on the beach. That's... Meanwhile... Okay, back to Tommy and Ross. Here's some pretty exciting business news. But you'll be the judge of that, of course. The Greyhound bus people, one of the big buses with a dog on the side, has announced today that it's closing 1/3 of its bus terminals across the country. Now, the reason I mention that, here's your big chance to get that living room piece you've always wanted. A row of 6 connected turquoise plastic chairs. You're right, there is a flu epidemic. And I don't know what the strain is, not the swine flu, but and that's why Doc is out. I had it last week. Did you? No, you.
No, sir, I don't take from that.
You don't get the flu?
No, sir, I prefer not to.
He even got a laugh with that. What do you got, Peter? Let's everybody get in on it. Anything? You got anything funny at all? Oh, you're dying, sure. But anyway, what else happened? Did you read that Prince Charles is in Texas? Yeah. Are you from Texas? Yes. You're celebrating, I understand, the 150th year of independence from Mexico. Prince Charles had his first taco he's ever had in Texas yesterday. True. And he found himself on the throne before his time. He is not. Didn't know we had such a tasteful audience here tonight. Another weird news item today. This is true. A Chicago plumber, did you read this? Was convicted for charging an elderly woman in Chicago $50,000 for fixing her toilet. Do you think? How many read that? Anybody read that? Can you imagine that? I have not seen a plumber with that amount of cash since the Nixon administration, I guess. Anyway, folks, we have a good show for you now. We really do. We have, first of all, we have one of the great performers, Mr. Andre Crouch, is with us tonight. Now, we have Jim Fowler from, Jim? Jim always brings some unusual animals, and of course you remember Jim Fowler from Wild Kingdom with Marlon Perkins, and it was always easy to tell Jim from Marlon. Jim would be out in the jungle doing really the heavy-duty work, you know, wrestling a crazed Cape buffalo in heat. Marlon would be in the tent force-feeding Navy grogs to Tondaleo, the service. But Marlon knew what he was doing, and we have a very clever ventriloquist. Ron Lucas is with us tonight. And the girl who's rather fascinating, who was booked last night, we invited her back tonight. She spent the last years of Henry Miller's life as his companion, and she's written a book about it. She's an actress, ballet teacher. Her name is Brenda Venus. She is with us. And as a surprise guest, she probably didn't mention this, Shelley Winters will be out later to plug her new book, in which she talks candidly about her 2-week relationship with the Delta Force. That's just a joke. Back to Tom and Ross. Thank you. We'll be back in just a couple of seconds.